Welcome back, everyone. So this section is all about collaboration workflows, different ways of configuring a repository and different ways of working on branches, when to create branches, how to merge changes, how to ask to merge changes, how to get permission. We won't be seeing any new Git features, or new Git commands rather, but we will be spending kind of a lot of time talking about workflows. I considered breaking this up actually because it is a long section, and I recommend that you take your time and probably I would split up viewing this section, maybe even go on to some of the later concepts like rebasing or Git tags if you want to break, something that's a bit breezier, and then come back to finish up this section because it's all pretty important stuff, but it's also just a lot. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about the problems with working in what I call a centralized workflow, working on one branch. It's important to understand. Then we cover the feature branch workflow, critical. We talk about something called pull requests. Very important if you plan on working with collaborators, if you plan on working on open source projects, if you want to use Git in some sort of work environment where there are other people. PRs or pull requests are used all the time. I put branch protection rules in important. This is a thing we can change, a setting on GitHub. It's important to know about, but just not as critical as these other things. I'm going to show you something on GitHub called forking, and then we spend a decent chunk at the end of the section, three or four videos talking about forking and a workflow called fork and clone. That's what I call it at least. And this is heavily used for open source projects, big projects like React or VS Code, which is open source, TensorFlow, just any big open source project you can think of that have thousands of collaborators. They don't grant every collaborator full permissions just to push up. So the fork and clone workflow is employed in those scenarios, and it's worth knowing about if you plan on making open source contributions, which is always a good idea. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in this section, all workflow oriented, lots of diagrams. I'm pretty proud of some of the diagrams, gotta say. Take forever to make them, but I think, hopefully, some of them are useful. Let's go ahead and get started. You be the judge of that. Okay, bye.